Good evening. It is Monday, August the 22nd, about 6:50 p.m. This is Weatherflow meteorologist Shay Gibson bringing you a preliminary forecast for Surfers Healing Folly 2022 happening this Thursday, Folly Beach. We're going to talk about the forecast in a minute, but I know everybody's wondering what the unsettled pattern is going to do. We'll talk a little bit more in detail. We're just 4 days out. It's really hard to kind of see some of the detailed granular modeling guidance for this right now. But we do know that daily we've been seeing on and off or intermittent showers and thunderstorms. So it's a matter of when they hit and how open the event's going to be. And we'll talk about some of those details in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and minimize me because I really want to show off the graphic for this year for Surfers Healing. And this is beautiful. I just love it. Every year they make such great graphics that come out for this event. And folks volunteer their time and art to get these kinds of images for the event. So looking forward to buying my shirt this year to show this graphic off for the next year until 2023. But let's go ahead and take, if we take this out, I really wanted to kind of show you the group here. There's lots of activity going on where you can see the latest information. Vanessa Trexler Altman posting the Surfers Healing van with the surfboard. Some of the surfers are coming into town, it looks like, and really just all the stoke is in the air. And it looks like things are starting to come together, including the medals, the trophies, everything that is part of this event, and also the volunteers. So this is an extremely large organization to organize, and I really want to give hats off to Nancy Hussey and all of her staff, a lot of folks that volunteer their time every year to come and do this event. So hats off to everyone there. Thank you for all, and thanks for all the one perfect days that you give to all the beautiful children out there and adults alike that come out to surf with these pros. It's absolutely beautiful event. So with that said, let's go into the visible satellite and start talking about our forecast here. This is kind of what our pattern's been for several days now. In fact, over a week. And we're stuck in this pattern because we have frontal activity embedded down in the southeast region. It really has nowhere to go. Usually we have like a Bermuda high pressure that would nudge these fronts inland and keep them with wind, surface winds that blow in this direction and blow them up into the mountainous zones and even maybe just lee side of the mountains, and they park there. Where right now what we have going on is a weaker pattern where these fronts are just allowed to come and drape over the coast one by one, and then they just sit and stagnate. So this is really what's called an undulating front or a meandering front, where we have cold to the north, we have warm air to the south, and it just sits over us and just brews all these rains and storms. So this creates a lot of instability in the area, and this is kind of what we've been plagued with for several days if you look at it that way. I mean, some folks definitely need the rain, but a little too much is a little too much for some of us at this time, and we hope that this clears out by late week. So what's going to happen here is we look at the surface map and we go forward into time. Right now we can see that frontal activity, more of an inland troughing feature, but as we go forward into time, we see more rain, more Gulf moisture pulling up into the area for overnight tonight, even into tomorrow morning. So basically the pattern has been, if you look at even tomorrow morning, a lot of these showers and thunderstorms hugged into the coast, sometimes some water spouts early on, and then we get a break about mid to late morning until about early to middle afternoon, and then the thunderstorms sort of come back again as the daily heating draws that instability over the area. So if we look forward now, remember things can change. This is only going out a few days, and with this much shower activity and Gulf moisture, the modeling guidance gets more erroneous over time over the day span. So when it comes to winds, they're a little easier to forecast over 3 to 5 days, but rain and this kind of pattern is very, very difficult to exact the times as we go forward out. So as we get into Thursday morning, looks like we see a front. This is where some of the graphics start to drop off, but we do see the front still kind of sitting over the area, but we do have high pressure over the Appalachians that could nudge this front a little further to the south of Charleston. This would give us a little bit of a break, some light northerly winds, a little bit of cooler wind, and then those winds would probably definitely veer east through the day, maybe even southeast, and then that front will come back into the coastline. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating for Thursday by looking at the latest guidance from the modeling. And what that really translates to is maybe some early morning showers, not as prominent as we've seen the last couple of days. But then we get a break, and then when the winds start to steer more east or east southeast, maybe we get a break from that as well, because that enables the sea breeze to keep some of those storms a little pushed a little further inland off the beach. So I'm thinking from what I'm seeing right now, we'll get a break at the immediate coastline. We may see some early showers fizzle out, and then some of that storm activity may swamp over the coastline by late afternoon, but I'm hoping we'll get a pretty good full day's event. So that's being very optimistic, and I'm not trying to wish cast for the event. I'm saying that's what the likely scenario from what the latest guidance is showing. Look at the latest winds. Let's take a look at what the winds are expected to be for Thursday. And there again, the GFS model guidance showing the northerly winds in the morning, going east in the afternoon, and then ultimately southeast by later. And so that's kind of what the winds are, but they will remain light, which means the swell will be a little bit cleaner. We won't have these real high choppy waves with 14 to 18 knots, unless there's a thunderstorm nearby that really cranks up those winds for a small period of time. But it looks pretty clean for the waves as far as waves go. If we look at swell heights right now out there, it's about knee, maybe thigh sets on the incoming tide or residual high tide, but mostly shin to knee for longboarding. I do expect from the forecast here for Thursday, by the time we wake up in the morning, we're looking at 1 feet. So a lot of times we look at primary swell, secondary swell, all those things. Looks like the primary swell is going to be meeting the secondary. So anyways, the swell will be coming in from the southeast at about 1 to 1.5 feet, maybe 2 on sets at high tide early. But we do have a high tide occurring at, let me just double check here. The high tide's going to be at, for Thursday, let's let that populate at 7:42 a.m. So early on, just after sunrise, we'll have a high tide, and then we'll have a low tide at 1:16. So this event will be primarily on an outgoing tide. Um, Typically, the swell drops off a little bit. That means the waves are a little bit smaller, but on the positive end, we get more beach as time goes on for more folks to spread out and sort of get their bearing of where they need to be on the beach. So it's not all packed in at high tide as we've seen before. So that's kind of a good thing. We have more room on the beach to spread out and go do other things and have fun. And so that's a positive. So with that said, I think that's going to do it for the forecast for right now. This is just preliminary forecast, so bear with it as we go through each day. I'll probably do another one tomorrow night, and then Wednesday night, and then Thursday, I'll probably be on the beach with everyone. So looking forward to it all. Just don't cancel your plans. Keep your plans and plan for it until the last minute. If something comes up, then go to execute plan B. But for right now, just don't miss that opportunity by calling it just yet. I think we're all going to be okay in the end, and there may be a few spurts of showers or storms that may happen for a bit, if that, by early to mid morning, but then hopefully we get a nice open pocket of nothingness for a little while and hopefully some good waves. Everybody, y'all take care, and I'll see you tomorrow night for One Perfect Day forecast.